Hello, and welcome to another episode of For the Want of a Nail, where I like to talk about simple little things that can make life easier, little tricks that I've learned over time, and quite a bit about little do-it-yourself projects that can save you some money and help you take better care of the equipment you have. And that's actually what I'm going to be talking about today is this little piece right here, which I'll show you how to make out of stuff you probably have sitting around in your house or in your junk drawer, but it's a great another tether for your NVGs. Now, I don't know about everybody else, but when I finally bought a PVS 14, it was after quite a bit of saving and research to make sure I was getting the best I could afford. So I try to be really cautious and definitely err on the side of caution of making sure it stays attached, or if it gets knocked either off the mount or off the clip, that it doesn't hit the ground, because I'd be pretty sad if that broke. Now, you will see this is on my Cry Precision nightcap. A little bit back, I did a video just on the nightcap itself, and then on some modifications that I did to this one that make it operate and work much better, make it way more comfortable to wear. I'll put the link to that up here at the top of the screen so you can go back and reference that video with the modifications on the nightcap. But we're just going to talk about right now this little piece. So I'll let you kind of see. It's hooked over the shroud. It's just a little bit of cord, a little bit of shock tube, little S-beaner, and it's clipped right into my PVS 14. Now, yes, I know on this shroud I've got a nice little Wilcox retractor guy here, which is kind of thin cord, and normally that is actually clipped through this right here, so just in case if the whole piece came off and just comes out, it was clipped there. But like I said, I like to have two safeties and make sure this thing doesn't hit the ground. So let me disconnect this one and I'll get all the pieces and I'll show you how you can put one of these together with, like I said, stuff you got sitting around. Save yourself some money, just use a little bit of ingenuity. So give me a quick second, I'll have that set up and we'll show you where it is. Alright, so I've got all the parts to put this together, and first I'll just show you, this is what the finished piece will look like. A little bit of cordage on the end, that's what you're looping over the shroud. You got a little bit of shock tube, so there's a little bit of give to it, and then a locking S-beaner, which is actually what I use to secure either my thermal or my PVS 14, whatever's on my helmet at the time. Now, depending on what you're running, whether it's a Cry nightcap, whether it's a bump helmet, whether it's a ballistic helmet, you're going to have to make a determination of how long you want this shock cord and this piece of cordage here. So I can't really tell you, oh, cuts 3 inches of this or 5 inches of that. You're going to have to look at what you have and how it works, but I'm just going to give you the quick guidelines here. So cut a chunk of the shock tube. I like to do just a quick overhand knot on the shock tube. I also like to bump the camera. That's awesome. Good pull. Trim that down. If you want, you can burn the ends there. I'm not going to right now. Then the smaller cord, I'm going to do this one longer just so you can see. All I'm putting in is an overhand knot. I'm going to do it on each side so then it tightens against itself. So I did that one side, sorry. Then when you don't pay attention, it slides out like that. You actually want to go through the loop. So you see I have those little overhand knots, and then when they pull together, they tighten that knot down. So all I'm doing is just looping that through. like that. So now I got my piece of cordage that's going to go through my mount or my shroud, and then I got that little bit of shock tubing. On that shock tubing is where that little S-beaner is going to go. Now, a little bit of shrink tubing. And what this is all about is just making sure that knot's a little more protected. All right, now to save you all from hearing the heat gun, I'm going to heat that real quick, and I'll come back and then I'll show you that last little piece of wrapping it all up. All right, so I'm done with the shrink tubing. Again, using a heat gun in a garage in Texas is super fun. So you might notice I used some graduated pieces of shrink tubing. So there's one piece in the center, a piece on that's slightly smaller, and then a much smaller piece. I just like it looking all nice and put together. Put your locking S-beaner on there. Also, you got to make sure it's unlocked or it won't work. There you go. So how do you put it on one of your mounts? So I have my little Wilcox shroud right here. So you can put it anywhere. There's a lot of these little kind of cutout pieces that let you put cord right through under. So we'll put it right here. Just like that. Now you see when my NVGs or thermals clipped in, it just gives a nice little bit of give, but it gives a nice little secondary, you know, like they say, 2 is 1 and 1 is none, and when it's stuff that you pay for that's expensive, spend 10 minutes, make a little extra safety. And then if you are rocking something like a nightcap, what I do if I don't have my NVGs on, I just clip it right up there. It stays out of the way. It's pretty simple, but for stuff you can find in your garage, makes it a pretty easy way to protect your investment of a PVS 14 or thermal, regardless of what type of shroud you have, what type of mount, any of that. You make something like this and it'll work for you. So if you found some value in this, if you watch stuff like this and go, hey, that's pretty helpful, please hit like. If you have questions or comments, put it down in the comment section. I'd love to hear what y'all are thinking, whether or not you liked what I did with the nightcap, or you know, your own mileage on running a PVS 14, how you make sure that you don't end up damaging it. And I'll see y'all in the next episode. Y'all stay safe out there.